It's a bit of a long story. I'm going to try and keep it brief, but it's quite a cool story. So it's quite dark. It starts from like a very, very dark place and comes to like a very, very positive place. So bear with me. So today's the 19th of January, and it starts roughly about a month ago. I was suffering from pretty bad depression due to my spinal cord injury. I started off really positive, but due to some complications, leg spasms, like progress, regress in rehabilitation and stuff like that, just general side effects from medication I've been taking, just felt really shit, mate, and pretty much wanted to kill myself. And I know it sounds really dark and it's pretty honest and raw, but I did. And these are the reasons why. So Lou's birthday was on the 18th of December. We were meant to go out for a nice meal, but I ended up taking some new medication that my doctor had prescribed for my leg spasms, and the side effect was horrible. It made me feel absolutely shit. I asked if she could drive me home, and I just laid in bed for about 3.5 hours, passed out, like I'd probably taken like 3 or 4 Valium or something. And to be fair, my legs didn't move once, but like it was really not very functional. So I kind of ruined Lou's birthday. I think it was probably her worst birthday ever. It was really shit. And then her main present was we drove to Zurich for a concert, and it was a really nice sort of like chilled out concert where there were sort of people like meditating on the floor and like holding hands, and like it was really cool. And we thought that it would be naively a good idea to sort of sit down in the middle, and I got out of my chair and sat on the floor. And when I'm sat on the floor cross-legged, I don't really look like your average wheelchair user. As the gig filled up and like got more people, and people started taking their shoes off, I was like, oh fuck, like there's just a sea of shoes, like I'm stuck, I'm sort of like getting really crowded in. And I'm like, right, well there's no way I'm drinking any water, because there's no way I'm going to be able to get out to go to the toilet. The gig starts, everyone's remained seated like on the floor. It was really cool, it was very nice. The tempo increased a little bit, some people started getting up and dancing, and then one of their most popular songs comes on and everyone gets up and dances. And obviously I can't get up and dance because I'm a paraplegic. Bit of a bummer, really. I was like looking over at Lou and I was like, man, we've just driven 4 hours, paid to get in this concert, got a hotel room for the night just so we can like see bums and feet and smell farts. And it was really depressing. But I didn't get the hump. But I could tell that Lou was really upset, and I was like, yeah, come on, like get up and dance. And she's like, nah, I'm not gonna get up and dance. She just sat there with me on the floor. So that was a bit of a fail. And the next day we drove back, and she wanted to go like Christmas shopping or like get some food in for Christmas. I really didn't want to go. I was feeling horrendously depressed and low. But I knew that by me saying no, I didn't want to go, it was going to make things worse. So I was like, yeah, okay, come on then, let's go. Dragged myself out the house. As soon as I got to the shop, I was fucking overwhelmed. There were so many people in the supermarket. I was like, I need to go wait in the car. I'm really sorry, Lou. I can't do this. Anyway, sat in the car, got my phone out, started like typing out some like suicide note, because I was just like, I can't be doing this, man. Like 3 days in a row, I've like ruined Lou's birthday. I ruined the trip. It was just really bad, man. It was just all these things were accumulating. I was really low, and I was just like, I've made my mind up. I'm gonna kill myself. I know that sounds really harsh and probably upsetting to a few people, but that's how I felt. I was like, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm just a burden. I'm like a ball and chain. I remember like writing stuff on my suicide note like, the greatest gift I can give you is freedom from the ball and chain of like carrying me around. Like I'm always like depressed. I'm always like an absolute buzzkill, like a happiness vampire. Like you'll get over me one day and you'll be thankful, because then you can have like an able-bodied guy that can just, you know, do all these things with you. You don't have to sit on the floor with me, you can dance. And I was really low, man. And there was another thing, I used to think like suicide was quite selfish, and I even wrote this in my suicide note. I was like, I used to think suicide was really selfish, but now actually I think if you feel like you're being physically and mentally tortured by whatever, disability, leg spasms, depression, then I think it's really selfish of people not, to want you to stay alive, so they don't have to like feel bad about, having to feel like grief temporarily. I just want I want out. I don't want to live anymore. Like, why is that selfish? Like, it's my choice. Anyway, so that was one of the lines in my suicide note. I was just like really, really depressed, man. I was ready to do it, but like I didn't want to do it at Christmas. I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna like ruin Christmas for everyone. I like Christmas, you know. I was like, I'm gonna do it, but I'll do it in January. So another thing happened 2 days before Christmas. The next door neighbour had parked her car in such a way that I couldn't get past to access the ramp that goes up to my flat. Long story short, like a little bit of my ramp is on like their land, and they're angry because I didn't ask permission before it was built, but I didn't know it was their land, and it's very vague. It's just it looks like a public access way. It's just a gravel path. But they were angry about it. They want me to remove it because I have no idea, man. They're just really not very nice people. What can I say? Anyway, she had parked in such a way that I couldn't get past. The taxi had just dropped me off from rehab. It was raining, it was cold, and I was like, excusez-moi, madame, excusez-moi. Trying to speak French, you know, like my French isn't perfect, but she was being really nasty to me, and I don't know why. It was really, she was saying like, I don't have to move my car, like, this is my property, like, go around the other way, and going around the other way, like, is down a really steep hill in the rain, and at the bottom of the hill is a massive busy road, then up an impossibly steep hill, across a gravel car park in the dark in a wheelchair, and then down this huge step just to get like 2 meters from where I am because she wouldn't move her car. And I just explained, like, look, the other way is very dangerous. Can you please move your car? I know it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but it's not like I can, you know, go around the other way. Anyway, she moves her car like a little bit, but really begrudgingly. I go in, and then she moves her car back, like she fucking reverses back. Really spiteful, man. Like, and I was like, I just said, like, come on, please, man. Like, you've blocked me in. She's like, this is my property. I can do what I want. And I was like, come on, please. I'm in a fucking wheelchair. And she was like, fuck you. And I was like, wow, really? Like, some people are so nasty. So the thing with depression is like when you're really low, you're so depressed you can't cry. But this was like, I was angry, I was like crying, I was just like, how can someone be so mean? I think I even recorded a video of just how like upset I was. Like, as if me being in a wheelchair is a fucking inconvenience for her. It's a bit of a fucking inconvenience for me as well, mate. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a fucking inconvenience for me. I don't want to fucking live like this. Why would you be so fucking mean as to say fuck you to me? Like, because I want to get past. I'm already so upset I think about killing myself every fucking day. Why would you be so mean as to do that? So yeah, this woman was really mean to me for no reason. Long story short, it was poker night that night. Some of my friends came over. They could see I was really upset. I explained the situation, and obviously like 6 lads around there to play poker. They're like, we're fucking going around. And I was like, no, guys, let's not make more trouble with the neighbours. Yeah, like it's just gonna make it worse. Like I'm just gonna try and write them a letter to kind of kill them with kindness. Just explain the situation and just say I didn't mean to, you know. I don't know, I didn't mean to be such an inconvenience. Like, I'm still coming to terms with having a permanent disability. Like, you know what I mean? One of my friends who I play poker with suggested that the flat downstairs from him is empty, is vacant, and he's going to have a word with his landlady and see if, you know, we can go view it. Turns out this lady is adorable. She's so lovely, she's so cute, she's got like little grey hair, like glasses, she kind of looks like Santa Claus's wife, you know, and apparently she used to have a husband who was in a wheelchair. She's super sympathetic, so we found a ground floor flat in Morzine, wheelchair accessible, dog friendly, and we were like, mate, it's kind of a no-brainer, but we still got a few like hard decisions to make, but it's a positive, right? A positive has come from something bad. Just at this time, I listened to this podcast. It was a Wheels to Walking podcast, episode 6, and he was saying about how like the first year of a spinal cord injury is the worst because all the memories you have of the year before are like, oh, this time I was like, you know, doing backflips on my snowboard. This time I was biking and stuff. But after that first year, you're like, fuck, like this time last year I was falling off a cliff, being rescued. I was having surgery. I was learning to do like my catheters. I was learning to do my bowel program. I was learning to do all these things, and now look at me. I'm like independent. I can drive. I've sorted like loads of things out. So after that first year, everything gets better. All those memories get better. And then I was thinking, well, if I can just make it to the 9th of January, then everything will get better. Christmas Day rolls around. Lou gets me this present of like a sit skiing lesson. Another thing that was said on the podcast was having a spinal cord injury is a chance to wipe the slate clean, completely reinvent yourself, start a new life. And this stuck with me. And when I was on the chairlift, going up in the sit ski, it struck me that like people sliding on snow for shits and giggles is kind of bizarre. Once you have like an objective perspective, you're like, man, I used to think of snowboarding like almost religiously, you know, like checking the weather. Like my goal in life was to snowboard on the best snow. Like, oh, like where's the best snow going to be? Like, what's the weather forecast? Like, and it's fine to be passionate about sports, you know, but suddenly it was kind of weird. Like this whole change of perspective, I was just like, fuck, like sliding on snow, like it's so weird. It's just this weird thing that people do. Like, and I was sit skiing, and I was like, yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's difficult, but it's just sliding on snow. But it wasn't a bad thing. It was a really good thing. I just had this like epiphany, and I was just like, I don't want my old life back. I want a new life. And it's refreshing to have come to that realization, you know what I mean? And in a way, it's kind of even scarier because I don't really know where to start and what direction I'm going in. But I know that I want to move forwards and not backwards. I don't want to do sit skiing. I don't want to do adaptive mountain biking. I want to do something else completely. And it's probably going to involve helping other people who have been suffering, because now I've been in the situation where I've been suffering. I feel like I'm in a good position to help other people through their struggles. And I find that's probably going to be a bit more rewarding than just like endorphin releases and adrenaline rushes. So yeah, this like shift in perspective has like left me feeling kind of alien, and like what I think what's really alien is the person I used to be, because it's much clearer now, like what's important and what's not. And while simultaneously feeling like I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing, because while the world is the same, I am not. Afterwards, I had an experience with some plant medicine, psychedelics, which I want to go into a lot more detail in another video, but it's too much to go into detail with this video. But basically, I like set an intention, I did some meditation, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm not going to kill myself. I've made that decision now. I'm not going to do it. But how am I going to do? Like, what is my life's purpose? And I got the message, like, quite clearly, quite obviously, like, dude, it's right in front of you. And I kind of opened my eyes, and there's Lou. And I was like, oh yeah, shit, man. Like, the girl that stuck by me through all of this, like, not only do I have a physical disability, but I have, like, all these mental depression issues. And she's stuck by with me through the whole year of me being a real, you know, life zapper. But she's just stuck by with me, man. Like, it's just like love like I've never experienced before in my life. And so I get this message like, this is your reason for living. Like, Lou, she's like really clever, she's really smart, she's really beautiful, she's stuck by you. So whatever she wants to do, whatever direction she wants to go, you should go with her. Trust her, follow her, because she knows what she's doing, and you should go with her. Follow your heart, follow the love. And then I have this epiphany that I should make the 9th of January a new memory. So instead of the memory of the day that I fell off a cliff and nearly died, it would be like the memory that I proposed to my girlfriend and asked her to be my wife. So I was like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I had this insane vision of like 2020 being amazing. Like, yeah, 2019 was really tough, but you know what? 2020 is going to be a hell of a lot better. You're going to propose to your wife, and she's going to be, everything's going to be awesome. And I was like, so I really do feel like, again, I want to go into this in more detail, but like these experiences with plant medicine have an insane potential for like curing depression and just making people feel a lot better about themselves. Like, and I was like, brilliant, this is it, this is my life's purpose then. So on the 9th of January this year, her family were visiting. It all worked out kind of perfectly. I got her the night off work, secretly, and then she comes home. She's like, "Oh, you'll never guess what? I got Thursday off work. It's brilliant. I reckon we should have a meal here." And I was like, "That's a really great idea, Lou. That's because that's what I wanted to do." I was like, "That's a really good idea. I can't believe you got the day off work. How cool is that?" Yeah, like Tom wants to swap a shift with me and stuff. And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." So anyway, had this elaborate prank to play Scrabble. So Lou's dad went mates. Then it comes around to Lou's mum, and she made soulmates. And then Lou was like, "Soulmates? Bloody hell, mum, that's a great word. How many points you get for that?" Completely not twigging it. And then I wrote the word connected, like soulmates connected. And she was like, "Bloody hell, have you used all your letters? That's amazing. You know, you get an extra 50 points if you use all your letters." And I was like, "Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, that's really cool." And then she looked at it, and she was like, "Hold on a sec. Have you fiddled this? And also, you haven't got the O. You need the O." Like, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I've got the O." Because I left the O out, so like it was like connected, but without the O. And then I was like, "Yeah, I swear I had the O. I think I've dropped it on the floor." And I pulled out the ring, and I was like, "Do you reckon I could use this instead?" And she was like, "No." She's like, "What are you saying?" I was like, "Will you be my wife?" And she was like, "Oh, you know, yeah, of course I will." And it was just a really lovely moment. So that's how I proposed, through a elaborate Scrabble prank. And basically that's the end of the story. It was just like basically me going through like a horrible, dark phase, and sort of this whole culmination with the neighbours to like having a new place to move into, a new start, some really insightful experiences with plant medicine, some really wise words that like hit me at just the right time, and again this whole realization that I don't want my old life back. I want to start a new life, and then proposing to my girlfriend and her saying yes. And I think that's a really cool story, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. I know it's a bit long, and if you stuck around to the end of this video, then cheers, I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm gonna get married to the love of my life, and she's really special. So yeah, thanks. The end. To be continued.